The goal isn't to convert everybody. That is not the goal of running ads to get new patients and clients in the door. And what I mean by that is the goal isn't that everybody's going to be a lifer patient and client. In fact, I don't want to work with everybody who buys our $97 front end offers directly. The goal is actually, I want to filter some people out, because I'm looking at the long-term positioning of my brand and who it is I really want to work with. There's only so many humans you can actually provide services and an incredible experience for. It's okay that some of these people are going to filter out. They're going to go through your consult process. They're going to be presented a big solution that they're going to say no to. And those aren't your people. And you got to remember that. Hey, beautiful friend. If you're a longtime listener of the podcast who's been dying to work with me but hasn't pulled the trigger yet, I have an incredible opportunity to work with me for a fraction of the cost. If your estheticians can't explain your signature plans or your new injectors panic every time they have to sell a high-ticket consult, it's not their fault. It's the system, or more specifically, your lack of one. That's exactly why I built Ask Heather AI, the first strategist level tool for aesthetic and wellness CEOs who want to scale with precision and stop flying by the seat of their pants. Inside, you get 3 powerful tools, each designed to solve the exact gaps that keep your growth tied to you. Turn your basic menu into a branded high-ticket signature offer suite your whole team can sell. Train every team member to lead premium consults with confidence, even if they've never sold a thing. Write magnetic messaging that attracts premium patients without sounding like every other clinic online. These are the same frameworks we've used to scale clinics to 7 figures and beyond, and they used to cost 5 figures to access. Now, you can have them in your back pocket. Try Ask Heather AI for 30 days and see what happens when you stop guessing and start scaling with words that work. Head over to heathertrevine.com/trial to learn more. Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. In this episode, I'm actually going to pull back the curtains and share the details of how I was able to make around $340,000 in the last 6 to 7 months off of one $97 product. That is just one of my funnels that I have going and the back end system that made that possible. And so my goal with sharing this is so that you can see how this, because many of my clients that I work with, this could be you. You are maybe running ads like me to an offer that might be like a microneedling or a special facial or a tox offer or a skinny shot. No matter what it is, how can you make sure that you make many multiples over whatever your ad spend is and your cost of your agency and all of that jazz? So we're going to talk about that today so that you can confidently go forward and invest in advertising in a way that you know will not just produce a leaky bucket for your business, where you just feel like you are investing money in and it is just pouring right out. We want to make sure you have a profitable bucket that is built on a back-end system that is strategic in its method of being able to make sure that you can make many multiples over whatever your investment is in the ads. Whether this is ads, no matter what front-end marketing you're doing. So I think what happens for a lot of you that are really amazing experts at what you do. You give so much great patient or client care. Your clients and patients trust you, so they're referring you business. Then you have those referrals come in. And those referrals, when they first come in, it doesn't actually take a lot of skill set to potentially sell somebody that's been referred to you a larger thing, like to get them to spend more, essentially, right? It might not even be like a a signature package per se, but might be that you're doing like a customized treatment plan and you have a higher amount of those referrals actually able to purchase. But what happens is when you decide that you want to scale more and you might want to grow your team so that you can shift more into that CEO role, and you are trying to grow your business with other levers like advertising that worked with referrals, where you might just be doing customized treatment plans. The consults are being done on the fly. There hasn't really been a well thought out, if you will, offer suite that is really connected to whatever the problem or the solution that the person's coming in for, already designed ahead of time for you and your team members to know. Then things start to break down. And then you can't actually reliably invest consistently in advertising and other things that you will need to be able to invest in order to scale your business. And so in this episode, I really wanted to share what I do in order to ensure that I always make a ton of money back from all of my return on ad spend, so that I invest in, I have an ad company that I work with that is expensive. So you have the ad agency fee that I have to invest in. And then I have also the just advertising dollars. And I'm always able to confidently invest in that and not lose sleep at night because I know I'm going to make a huge return on my spend. So this $97 offer is just one of my $97 offers that goes out. It's connected to my multi-million-dollar menu masterclass. And then I have a back end offer suite that once they get into my ecosystem, they get dropped in. And in fact, many of you may have even experienced this through an email sequence and follow-up and then retargeting ads and the whole organic content, everything I do in my ecosystem, right? And so the equivalent is for many of you, you might have those top of the funnel, as we call them, offers that are designed to get new patients in the door on a very specific, tangible thing. And you'll notice that rule number one is you have to start with the end in mind. Many of my clients over the years, when they come to us, the problem that they have, they're like, oh, meta ads don't work, or whatever kind of ads is. And that's just, first of all, not true. Meta ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, whatever the ads are, they can work. But it doesn't mean they work in 100% of the time. It just means that you haven't figured out the creative and the offer and the back-end system that's going to make them profitable for you. So there was actually a great story on the podcast where I interviewed one of my clients. This is probably a year or two ago, Dr. Tanya Williams. And so I'll just give you another example where she came to us. She's a direct primary care clinic, and then she also has an aesthetic arm, and they are based in Dodge City, Kansas. And so she was running ads to body sculpting and weight loss. And she came to us and we helped her put together signature packages and plans for her body sculpting and weight loss that were in the $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 range. And she was like, look, this is never going to work because I'm in this market in Kansas where 70% of the market is migrant farmers, and they don't have the budget for these $7,000 or $8,000, $9,000 packages. And so I told her to shelve that thought and to actually hold that limiting belief for a moment. And we put together packages that were really designed to create the outcomes that she really wanted to be able to create. And they had some packages before that they were actually trying to sell that were like in the $1,500 and a little bit more than that range that weren't converting that well. And she didn't even really believe in those packages. She knew that these people were going to need more than what those lower dollar packages were going to provide. And I said, well, that's a disservice to everybody. So we helped her put together more premium packages, and lo and behold, she was able to, within a period of I think it was 3 months, she was able to triple her revenue because ta-da, they had the back-end system in place. They had the premium offers that were going to deliver incredible results for her patients. And they also had a consult system that helped them be able to walk these cold traffic folks through the conversation that is necessary to have, okay, in order to actually convert more humans, and especially humans that are coming from cold traffic ads. Another thing to keep in mind is when I'm running my $97 offer and you're running your, $150 signature facial or your microneedling, your tox, your skinny shot, whatever it might be, the goal isn't to convert everybody. That is not the goal of running ads to get new patients and clients in the door. And what I mean by that is the goal isn't that everybody's going to be a lifer patient and client. In fact, you don't want all of them over the long term, right? So like with my $97 product, the goal with it is that you have an offer that is going to ensure you are maybe profitable or at the very least break even on that front end cost, if you will, to acquire the person coming in the door. And then the goal for them to be super profitable ads is to make sure that you need two key things. Number one, you need a signature offer suite. So whether that's signature packages, signature programs that are actually directly tied and thought through. So if I have a microneedling ad, or I have a facial ad, or I have a skinny shot ad, or I have, a body sculpting ad, no matter what it is, that you have already pre-thought out, okay, these are probably the 2 to 3 signature packages, signature offer plans that are most directly related to what those types of humans that are booking those things are going to need, desire, and want. And then getting it radically clear for your team. And then also dialing in your consult process for your team members as well. Okay, so that they have clarity on what the offers are that are directly related to that. There's only so many things that a human who books for microneedling or facial or whatever it might be, there's only so many variations that you and your team are really experts at and specialize in that are gonna help them, right? And so believe it or not, what many people do is they took what worked with referrals. And what works with referrals, like I said, meaning I wouldn't even say I still am so bullish no matter where the new patient or client is coming from, that you have a well-designed signature package, signature offer, an annual consult plan that is basically, you have your signature menu and then you have signature plans from that signature menu that are annual plans for certain types of humans that your practice or clinic sees a lot of, right? So it's already decided ahead of time, those plans. And then of course, your providers can actually take some liberty and, when it's, if they need to adjust things a little bit, they of course can. I think you should do that with referrals. But what happens with many of you is that you've kind of gotten away with just because you have a referral business coming in because you guys are so great at what you do that you could kind of fly by the seat of your pants. Like you are treating your patients and clients really well. So they're referring other people to you. Those people come in from a referral. So they're way more warm than any other discovery point of a patient or client coming to you. And so you just kind of on the fly, maybe your team on the fly is just doing customized treatment plans where they're just kind of putting random things together based on what they think in the moment, right? And that has kind of worked up until now. But I'm telling you, that won't continue to work when you decide to double down on other scalable front-end marketing things like ads, where the folks are going to come in and the discovery point is going to be that they aren't as warm to you. And so you will want a more consistent and reliable system for those folks. Now, it's the same system I actually recommend using with the real warm folks because I just think it's just an elegant and incredibly elevated experience for you to know that you and anybody on your team is able to deliver, obviously, really a consistent, reliable experience like that. So that's, beyond the point. So I would do it across no matter this discovery point. But I'm telling you, for those of you who've gotten away or you've been entirely referral business, you will definitely want to layer this in before you start investing a lot of money in ads. And if for those of you who are already doing that, this is going to help you get many multiples of a way higher return on your ad spend, way more profitability, because ultimately the goal is to make sure that the two numbers I always say that we care about is lifetime value and average visit value. If we obsess about those two numbers, there's no way that you can't win. So a couple mindset shifts that I've kind of already alluded to that I wanted to just reiterate before we wrap this up is that mindset shift number one is the goal isn't to convert everybody. And what I mean by that is not converting on the initial $149 offer or whatever it might be, the $199 offer or whatever it might be. Yes, they've already paid that when they booked, or they're paying that to come in to get the service at the time when they come in. That's not the conversion I'm talking about. I'm talking about the back-end conversion into a more comprehensive plan and converting them into being a lifetime client or patient of your practice or clinic. That is not even the goal. Meaning, I don't want to work with everybody who buys our $97 front-end offers directly. The goal is actually, I want to filter some people out, because I'm looking at the long-term positioning of my brand and who it is I really want to work with. And not only that, there's only so many humans you can actually provide services and an incredible experience for. And so it's okay that some of these people are going to filter out. They're going to go through your consult process. They're going to be presented a big solution that they're going to say no to. And they're going to be those people that are just going to jump around from every Groupon offer and every new ad funnel that they see from every clinic in town. And those aren't your people. And you got to remember that. You really have to keep that front of mind and you have to remind your team of that as well too, because your team is going to say, this isn't working. In fact, I was coaching a team member on this recently where she thought something had gone wrong because they have this special facial and then she sells this package that is directly related to the facial. And I asked her, well, how many people are actually taking the package? And she said about 2 out of 10. And these are cold traffic ad people is what she was talking about. And I was like, that's 20%. And you just launched this package like a couple months ago, right? That is we're going to help you actually dial this in even better. And we're going to help her grow that conversion rate on those folks. But I had to remind her, I'm like, that's actually not that bad. When we looked at the numbers, it's like they are making so much more. They're so much more profitable, if you will. But in her mind, because it's totally natural for you and then all of your team members to actually focus on the people who aren't the yeses, to focus on the people who are not ideal. I've said this before, but one of the plastic surgeons I used to work with a lot, he had built his practice and he's been in practice for many, many decades. And he had built his practice on referrals, right? And he started to run Google ads because he was bringing on another surgeon and he wanted to grow and scale beyond, and he had an aesthetic clinic and we wanted to grow and scale. And he was like, these ads are bringing in the worst, and I forget how he said it. It was something like the worst leads or whatever. And what we discovered, I was like, well, yeah, these people are not going to be just like your referrals. The expectation that they would be just like your referrals is the wrong expectation to have when you're running ads. Yes, you're going to have to actually see more people who are just coming in for certain special offers. And that's just the nature of the beast. Right? And as long as you keep your head on straight, keep your eye on the prize, actually look at your numbers and really have a really great back-end system for any of those ads that you're running or any of your front-end marketing that is bringing people in, no matter what it is, you will be more profitable. You'll be able to turn on those levers. It feels so good to be able to run ads no matter what the market's doing, no matter if it's an election year, and know that I can make money off of my ads. I can be very profitable off my ads because I understand how to have that back-end system for it. And so I want you all to feel that way as well too. All right, my friend, that is what I have for you this episode. I will see you next time.